Let's begin this lesson by starting with a blank. So go to the word File on the pull-down menu and go down to New. I'm going to use my favorite spot, and that's Profile Web Default 960 by 560. We are not doing anything with this except experimenting. So there is no, in a sense, intent. So it doesn't matter. Pick a spot that works for you. My little sandbox fits so well in my workspace. Let's talk about the predictability of filling open or closed shapes. Now, if we come over here, these are basically closed. So I'm going to pick up the star tool, and I'm going to draw myself a star. I'm going to use the up arrow key, give it a couple more points, and I'm going to hold the command key down. That's the control key in Windows Command on a Mac, and stretch it out. Why? I don't know. It's just what I feel like doing. Make any kind of star you want. Now, let's do some open shapes. Like, for example, over here, these are open shapes. I'm going to do a line segment, just a nice straight line. I'm going to do let's do an arc. Don't forget the up and down arrow keys if you want to change the arc. And last, but certainly not least, one of my favorites, the spiral. And let's make me a spiral right about here. Okay, so we have three shapes technically that are open shapes and one shape that is closed. Now remember what we're doing here. And this really, although it's common sense when we do it, it's so important to understand because the shape itself is being totally controlled by that path. So if we come over here and pick up our regular run-of-the-mill selection tool, let's go to this one first and fill it with a color. Now, we know what's going to happen. It's going to fill it with the color. But it's the path, kind of like a swimming pool that's got that big wall around it, and the water stays inside the swimming pool. That's our swimming pool. Now, this one is a straight line, and by default, there is no fill. Now, you could give it a fill if you wanted to, but because it's a straight line, you can't see it. So what happens maybe with this one? Well, if I select it and come over here and give it a fill, watch what happens. Well, it's kind of like a bowl, and we fill the bowl with water, but it is defying the laws of physics, and the water's not actually falling out. That is an open shape. And then finally this one here, if we select it and fill that with a color, as you can see, it will go to the open shape point right here and come over to here, a straight line. So even if a shape is not closed, like our star, you can still fill it if there's something for it to fill in. And the straight line, that just doesn't work that way, does it? Let's do one more thing and close this out. Pick up your direct selection tool right up here. Now, what I want to do is kind of end with some fun. These points here, 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 and here, I want to select all those. Now, that wouldn't really take that long, but I don't want to select the ones on top. I found a trick here. I'm going to get way out here, say about there, and I'm going to click and drag and make a marquee. And I'm going to be careful not to get the outside points. And there I go. I've got them. Next, pick up your rotate tool right over here. And what I want you to do is click once right on that center point. Get as close to center as you can and click it. Okay, now come anywhere you want to, because you're controlling the shape now. When you drag, you'll rotate it from that point, and rotate it. I don't know what that is, but it's interesting. When you're working in Adobe Illustrator, simple shapes can be made into more complex objects. Start with a star, end up with, I have no idea. Let's go to the next lesson.